in my judgment, this is an industry that is not going away. It's valued today at about $1.3 trillion. But I do think, and I've spoken to Christine Lagarde personally, and I think we need to stop measuring it just by what's going on with the overall value and how are these assets being used to solve real world problems. And I think time and time again, we're seeing more and more real use cases solving real scaled problems where blockchain technologies can reduce friction measured by cost and speed in a way that I think improves the overall economy.
I mean, USDC itself we've seen over $3.5 trillion of transactions directly on the internet between counterparties. And so if we can, improve it with more scalable blockchain technologies like, Brad's company provides, and we can make this extremely low cost to move.
For anyone who understands these two stuff happening at the World Economic Forum, that's actually huge in itself, right? How many other projects can actually say, like, I've talked to Christine Lagarde, who's the chief of ECB, European Central Bank, and she was on the IMF leading that team, right? So they have their own reach, the network, and how they're going to actually get this information moving along. And they do have positions at chair where they have the authority. So they can do stuff. And then you already know how USDC is positioned itself in the market, right? You know who has been there as an investor for USDC from the early days. And they're getting huge, heavy stuff from, BlackRock, Citadel, and all the stuffs. And they're being adopted as a regulated stable coin. And when they come out on stage like this and talk openly saying, okay, we have done $3.5 trillion personal transaction, blah, 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 blah. But if we can actually have a scalable, interoperable stuff like Brad's company, like Ripple, we can again reduce the cost. That is actually huge. If you want to listen to that, just go to XRP Shark, or you can just follow me. Now, these are like, the stuff which you need to listen and again to actually get clear, crystal idea what's happening in the macro environment and how they have positioned themselves. Because this shows you like how many other companies are there. Because Ether, Consensus, we know they're trying to, reach different central banks and all. But right now with all those issues happening and the scalability issues, it's kind of slow one. Now, I'm not saying no central bank will be using that. They will start on that. And they will understand all the issues which is coming with that. And they'll try to move on. But what I want to actually add on to this is like, okay, that's 8 years from now. If you care for your family, you care for your children and next generation which is coming along, you need to start preparing right now. That's only 8 years. So if they suggest that it's like this, I don't own anything, no house, no car, nothing. Woo. I don't know how the normal guy is going to digest this one, but at least for me, I'm like, you need to start preparing for your next generations from this moment and position yourself in a way that you are going to reap the benefit. So for me, one of my biggest investments are here in this, because we were actually looking through a lot of different stuff, and we also came to see like Georgian Prime Minister having a conversation with Ripple executives. Brad was there, and the finance minister. So this actually gives you the general idea of what's happening in and around right now, because being at a stage where you have the ability to talk to all these top people in the world, whether you like it or not, World Economic Forum is actually giving the opportunity. And Ripple is now there. Brad is a board member in World Economic Forum. Again, positive or negative for long term, this is actually great for this technology and for XRP as an asset, because once this technology is adopted to reduce that cost, you need a settlement vehicle, and that settlement vehicle will be XRP. Now, these are stuff which you really need to consider. If you see, like, say, Justin Trudeau or any other chief of a country inside these, and then you see Brad Garlinghouse, there will be a lot of haters for sure. There will definitely be a lot of haters. But what you have to keep in and, move out of all these noise is these stuff. when you are able to watch this, understand if they are there, that's for a reason. If they are having time together, time is money, and these guys won't waste their time. They know what they're doing and how they're pushing. Because in the other end of this, if you're not understanding this, it's completely crystal clear that you will be forced into this. And it may not be 2030 for some people. A lot of people are having the issues right now. And if you're not on the right side of this, it would be bad. Because a lot of people are having trouble right now to afford the food or have a roof on their head, right? To be that guy who is like, okay, fine, I'm gonna start today. I'm gonna fight for my family today. If you do that from this point, you may actually escape this when the 90% of the people are going into this trouble. Government owned housing, free that, free this, all from government, and again, no privacy, right? You literally won't have that. They'll hack into your brains. That's kind of the stuff which looks really weird, right? Now, on the other side, the same from World Economic Forum, you also get this. So if that's the negative stuff, this can be a tool which they are using for that CBDCs, that network and all. But there's the opportunity for you. If you understand this fine, you can take this opportunity to increase your wealth and then position yourself differently. You can go into hard asset, soft asset, whatever you want, but you have the ability to do that. All these fundamental stuff which is happening there, you get that idea. Here, Brad is actually talking literally about the current crash, and he's saying, okay, even though it's too painful, a reset usually happens in the market. This is a boom moment, right? A reset usually happens in the market. Okay, we understand that. That is a huge reset. Now, if you are looking at all of this, on the other side, this is for Korea, right? And you see like they are having issues, and the new central bank governor is highlighting we are having trouble here. So the already inflation is high, people are suffering. If this is to continue, that won't be good. Now, let's look at the price action. These are interesting stuff to look at: the MACD, the RSI, and the price where it is now, and then look at the Bitcoin, what it's doing right now. These are all really interesting. So stay with me till the end. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we talk about crypto and science behind investing regularly. We are able to observe some stuff in this market. Say if you consider this weekly candle as a mother candle, we are still inside that volatility. We haven't moved up or to the downside. We are still there. Say if you are looking at this particular candle, the next one itself went below that, so kind of moved into a new range and then moved back up and closed there. Whereas here we are still inside this range. So most likely like this, you wick lower and then eventually come back to retest that, go back higher. That is a huge possibility. Now, one of the main key stuff here which you need to understand is now this may actually go against a lot of other people suggesting this, and now I'm not saying they're wrong, but look at this. If you are counting from here 1, 2, 3, then till here you need to count the same, because this is your bottom, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, that can still happen. You may consolidate there for 3 or 4 weeks, but it's just a continuation pattern. You're not going to the upside or downside. You're still there inside that pattern where your impulse is to the downside and then again the downside. So if you are doing this heavy corrections, usually we know if the correction is without much of a consolidation in between, then the bottom comes in so hard like this. You drop heavily, then you stay there for some time and then go back up. Now that can potentially be another scenario there, but you may still retest these lows. So if you take a step in, zoom in, okay, that's your range, 34,000 to 26,000, and you're still within that range, and you look at the volumes. The volume candle is actually dropping. The selling volume has substantially dropped. Now this week has just started, so we need to see where it actually closes. But by Thursday, Friday, you'll actually get an idea whether we are close here or way lower. Because if it's reducing, it definitely goes with that normal argument, like, okay, it's been like 8 weeks of bearishness and we never had that. So most likely you're going to make a base here and go back up. Now that's going to happen. But the difference is we don't know whether it's going to take another 2 weeks staying in the same territory before it goes up, right? That can still be like this. Literally another candle, next weekly candle being in red within this range is also possible, right? No one knows. That's why we say, okay, if you are in an asset, zoom out and look what's happening. So here for XRP, if you look at the MACD, we came here way back in 2018 during those bear markets. So understand, from $3.8 when you fell to $0.25, that's when you reached here. And right now, you are there, right? The MACD is there. The price dropped from $2 to 0.38. Both of them are different scenarios, right? Now you're looking at the RSI. On the RSI, you see like the RSI reached like 30, and we came there way before 2015, right? And that too, we came to that territory at the bottom of this downside. You are looking at that correctly. Then we started consolidating before we actually started that massive rally. So those are like, okay, you're at the bottom. Now, yes, being at the bottom, it's bad. The price is low. The psychology is bad. Emotions are there. But if you look at this on the other end, okay, we are at the bottom. So we may not have too much downside and we may slowly start to move back up. That is a huge ability to see whether the market is actually slowly bouncing to the upside or not. Now, when we get a bounce, and if that bounce happened to be something like this, a big candle boom, you are waiting to buy, you missed out. But if you are a hodler waiting till the top, you are like, okay, great. That was a good decision to hold through. It was a hard time, but we managed to surpass that one, right? Because in this market, as we look at, you have a lot of coins moving up, down, up, down. There's a lot of carnage coming in and happening right now. So once you are looking at all of those, you are like, okay, which are the coins which are getting hammered? Have they actually done a three-wave structure? Are they moving into a bear market inside them? While this wave 2 correction happens, some can actually do the bear market, drop 95%. So you really don't want to be in those assets. You want to be in those assets where there are a lot of opportunities there. So how do you invest in this market when the market is so volatile? That actually goes back to what Brad was highlighting here, right? Majority of them are going to go to zero or go away. But those with real utility is going to exist here for a very long time, because others which are just a speculative asset for now may take a hit with regulations and what's coming ahead, because these guys joining there talking together about real life use case and utility, that is something we all need to understand. So if you are sure about one asset that technically it's great, it's fine, okay, then you look at the fundamentals and you combine both of them before you put in your money there. Now, yes, the market is heavily relying on BTC price, because that's kind of an indicator which the entire market is using right now. So for the time being, if this drops to retest 26, 25 on different exchanges, you may actually see lower prices in all of these altcoins. But the difference is, again, it comes to the same boiling point. XRP also has the long wick here, and you may go back to retest that one, right? So if you are a new guy entering into this market, you're going to get an opportunity. If you're someone who bought back here 0.2, 0.3 and waited through all these time, and you're like, okay, it's been like 2 years and prices at the same point, yeah, I agree, that's painful. We didn't take any profits as we were going back up. Now, if you go back to these timings, November 2020, you'll see my video where we are taking profits at 0.73. Then somewhere close to here at 0.91, right? Now, if you are continually doing that, it's like, okay, fine, we have some stuff to do, but the market is wild. It does all these stuff which kind of completely irritates us as an investor. But if your time horizon is actually long enough, it's just noise happening in between, because you just saw the entire fundamentals of an asset. And if you don't believe that, and the value is going to come into the price, you can completely go on to any speculative assets which you want. But if it's based on fundamentals, you definitely look at coins like, XRP, XLM, HBAR, all of these which really is solving a problem right now, say Quant, all of these payment tokens, they have something behind them. They have a lot of adoption. They have doing something way better than what others were trying to do. Look at Cardano compared to Ether, right? They have that ability in that new network. So these are the coins we call blue chips. And if you are in these coins, yes, you literally have more time waiting because of the actual utility coming in. But the market cycle and the speculation also pushes this one because they are already having long-term holders there. And when new guys come in with all these news and the market goes up, that also gets extended to the upside. So when it gets extended, whether it's a bubble territory in a daily, weekly, take your profits. Keep your dry powder because the market always gets extended to the upside and to the downside. And I think this time here right now, we're getting extended to the downside. And that's a huge opportunity for anyone looking at this market because it's going to bounce back like a rubber band. Guys, if you're receiving value for your time, please do hit that like and subscribe button. And if you are looking to learn technical analysis, you can look at these short segments, which we are doing. We started recently. So guys, I'll meet you on the next video. Bye for now.